Allison, would you like to call the roll?
Hetzke,
Here.
Bastian,
Here.
Knauer,
Here.
Burton,
Here.
Nursinger,
Here.
Sangster,
Here.
O'Connor,
Here.
Weissar.
Here.
All right.
We got minutes from
Minutes.
last meeting.
March 10th, we got a couple, Jim sent us one note with a correction that we will make. Made. Correct. Awesome.
All right.
We were quick. Did anyone else have any comments or corrections for the minutes? Okay.
Just
Take a
wondering
vote.
what his was, but that's all right.
We corrected one of the votes.
Got it. Got it.
Copy paste. It gets the best of you sometimes.
Sure. Somebody move to
I move to
Second.
pass it
Bastian and Knauer.
Okay. Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
in. Aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Knauer,
Aye.
Okay. On to our first table application, Windsor Ridge.
Yes.
Yep. So, from the tabling resolution, we were waiting for revised site plans, and we did receive those. They came in yesterday. They provided we provided them to the board immediately through Google Drive again. So hopefully some people, we've had a chance to take a look at them. If not, we have the opportunity now. Doug's already pulled up the landscape plan, which one of the bigger items that the board stressed was addressing landscaping up by 5 Mile, filling in this gap along the bend. That was addressed by the applicant, as well as the remaining of the landscaping comments, providing some plantings between the infiltration basin on the Part 2 plan. That one. Almost. There it goes. Over here. Some of our comments, and same thing with Bruce's memo regarding the landscaping. Requested the applicant to add those plantings between the infiltration basin and those properties, trying to just offer a physical delineation and a reminder saying where property ends before these, stay out of this area because this is a stormwater management facility that will be functional all the time, and we don't want people going in there disturbing it. Mike took a chance to look through the rest of the plans as they related to the PRC comments from the February memo. I think
they've addressed
Thank you.
everything.
Yep.
So I think we're, fine to go along with. I mean, anything was technical in nature, so that I think we can handle with pre-Mylar or anything.
Okay.
Yep. What else did I see?
Sweet.
Sorry. One other thing. Bob had mentioned some concerns, remember, with Lot 1, the grading and the size of that. They did address that.
Okay.
Move that swale back a bit to give Lot 1 some more space.
That's by the entrance.
Yep.
Right.
It's on the grading plan. There we go. And you can see how it makes that swing. Now here, before it kind of just ran right along this edge, and now it's moved over a bit, so
So it's, okay.
More
so there's
usable
more
lot.
usable. Okay,
Right,
good.
it's along the property line,
Yeah.
so it kind of helps with some drainage challenges that we have on the Victory Garden property. So that'll help address some of that.
One item that was in the draft approval resolution that we left in there, if anyone had any comments about it, was possibly putting in this condition for the limit of disturbance during construction of the northern property line where there's the existing standing trees. Not all of them are in great health. A lot of it's scrub brush that's there now. Formerly the applicant put it in a conservation easement, but those have been removed. We're just wondering if the board was interested in putting anything in the resolution.
So what was Bruce's
He on the buffer, well not buffer, the existing vegetation.
No, about conservation of the existing foliage.
He was not in support of putting a conservation easement over.
No, but we could ask
Those
them for a
portions.
conservation plan during construction to make sure that the root structure of those trees is not compromised.
Right, and that's, we would phrase it, kind in more of a, again, noting the limits of disturbance for protection of those trees during construction. Marking them out, putting in the appropriate fencing, and then inspections to say that this area's been protected during construction, but not to put it under an easement to restrict someone, the future homeowner,
Sure.
from, if they need to, removing those trees, adding more plantings, whatever it may be. But we were just wondering if the board had any interest in adding a condition similar to that to protect what trees were good that were out there.
You know, if there are mature trees on the site that need to be nurtured back to health, I'm all in favor of adding a condition that they provide a conservation plan during construction. That's part of their letter of credit.
Okay. And the applicant, we spoke to the applicant about that. They're willing to, and understand that, you know, what's out there is important, and that they'll do what they have to maintain the healthy trees that are out there during construction. And again, once it's turned over to a property owner, then it would be up to them, just as we do everywhere else.
Thoughts?
Is
No,
Bruce
that
gonna-
seems appropriate to do that. It's a good idea.
Is Bruce going to tag the trees he wants to remain, in addition to putting a plan together to protect the ones that aren't going to be cut down?
We haven't asked them to do so.
I
But-
think we should leave that up to the applicant. If they give us a conservation plan to protect those trees, and their consultant feels that some of those trees are not salvageable, then they can tell us in the plan.
A lot of developers like to clear cut.
Yeah, we don't want to see that happen here.
Well, and ultimately, Bruce would have to sign off on the landscaping plan.
I mean, there's not that many. It's
Anyways.
a big open field. You got trees around the
Yeah, it's just that one area that, you know, we've received a lot of feedback on. And even if it means marking up the existing conditions
Right.
sheets to say trees to remain and be protected under construction, that can be done. And we can have that added to the plan.
And I think they've moved the grading off the back, now if you can go up to this property line, off the rear property lines. I mean, there's probably a good 20, 25 feet there that the grading ends, and then, you know, so they're not necessarily going into that area
All the way to
already.
the property line.
So they've already kind of shortchanged themselves on the grading from the property line currently, so I think they understand that we want to preserve the trees, but there is some of the scrub brush and, you know, gnarly things that we don't want to keep, type of thing, so.
Well, the root structure of some of those trees is going to be pretty wide, too, so 20 feet is not.
Yeah, and to Mike's point, many of those trees are located beyond, really along that property line
Right.
anyway. So, you know, if the grading stops where it's shown, then that root structure is
Should all
preserved.
stay.
Right, because last fall we did a site walk
Yep.
and we walked it, and they had the property line staked, and most everything was pretty darn close that was on the property is what you wanted to keep. It wasn't necessarily 20 feet into their property.
Mhm. But we can add that into the resolution and make sure that's carried through on the site plans going into pre-Mylar as well.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. The other item just that was left over was the town board waivers. All those items, we did send a letter on behalf of the board for the sidewalk waiver, support of the partial sidewalk waiver for one side internal, and having the sidewalks installed on the perimeter for Atlantic and 5 Mile. The board chose not to send any correspondence regarding the other waiver items, mainly for green infrastructure. Mark will be talking with the town board tomorrow night, but we can condition all of those waivers into the draft resolution, you know, to say that, you know,
Yes.
as we usually do, I should say.
Yep.
Okay, we'll make sure that's captured in there. Does the board have any other comments about this site plan right now?
No, you got my,
Yes, I have your
Markups and-
comments.
okay.
Yep. And we'll make those changes.
All right, so
If there aren't any, The Part 2 and Part 3 full EAFs were provided as well. We can entertain a motion to
We need to approve.
have you authorized to sign those.
If we get any.
I'll make a motion to approve Part 2, Part 3 EAFs.
Okay.
Second.
Bill
Second
and
by
Jim.
Burton.
I'm sorry,
Bastian.
Bastian and Burton.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
We got a motion on
Approval resolution
approval
with
resolution.
the,
I
as
guess on the
amended.
table. Does somebody else want to move that?
Move.
Okay. Canower
Second?
Second.
and Jim.
okay, moved by Canower, seconded by Burton, Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
have a good night.
You guys too.
Thanks.
We won't start moving earth until next week.
Sounds good. I won't tell Mark you said that. All right. Second tabled application, the Bayview Landing Project on Empire. Not many updates from the applicant leading into today. They're still working on the building elevations, architecture color samples, sample materials that we've asked for, along with responses to the PRC memo, all those technical items that came with it, along with the revised plans. So I don't have any huge updates for that project. However, if the board would like, we could still talk about the conventional plan that's proposed to make sure that, you know, we're all on the same page with it, we're willing to move forward with the conventional plan.
Is that the same conventional plan you quoted?
No, this was revised right before the public hearing, and
With the apartment buildings?
yes, they had to show compliance with the LaSalle's landing zoning. Previously, they had shown single-family homes, which is not allowed in LaSalle's landing. We're now showing two-story, 10-unit apartment buildings. This puts them over the units they would ask for anyways.
Right.
So it's showing, you see here that they could get more than the 33 units they're asking for, but they are, again, showing something that complies with the zoning as a use, as a structure. The rest
Is there an
is
easement
residential.
over that lot right there?
Which part?
Well, you have this private access drive and then
This?
it looks like another parcel. It's landlocked.
This part is actually, I believe that's probably the existing parcel, actually. There we go, we'll go to a real parcel map. Come on, there it goes, existing parcel.
It's part of, yeah, 49.
Turn 90 degrees from what we
Yeah,
just
no, I
looked
get
at.
that, but, so they're going through lot 29 there?
Yes, because there is access, there is an easement there,
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry,
access
that's your
easement
question.
over.
There is an easement there for access out to that dotted line that you see on our map
Mhm.
here.
Okay.
So you're not just putting buildings there with no means of access
Right.
in real life now. But that is there, even if it's not mapped, we do have the documentation.
Right. Okay.
So Doug, if you could switch back to the plan. There we go. Just zoom out and just get a overall again.
Thank you for the indulgence there.
Confirmation. Again, conventional plan, this is showing now 43 units. They're asking for 33. Not much changed on the residential portion of this. Again, it was just the LaSalle's Landing
Right.
zoned land.
Lot 1,
Where am I
it's
going?
not too low or
No.
It's out of the wetlands.
It's out of the wetlands and the buffer area. That would be
Is
a
that
build.
buffer area?
Yeah, the buffer
Is that
is
the dotted line? Okay.
the dotted portion.
Lot 2's fine there too. I mean, not that that's.
Yeah, I mean, the lot
we're
itself
splitting
is not,
hairs, but
right, I mean, we have a number of these lots that would actually be in the buffer area. But again, a buffer area is a permit process.
That's just showing the setback lines.
right.
Well, yeah, this is the 100-foot buffer off the actual,
So how would we stop
Wetlands.
them from building sheds and things like that in the buffer area?
wouldn't be allowed.
Wouldn't be allowed, but
Mhm.
how often do we take that, in, a shed into account for conventional plan
They made a permit.
density calcs?
And if we look at this application specifically, since really the whole thing is managed by a whole other company, it's,
You don't
these
have
residential units
lawnmowers
would be rented out anyways. I
Yeah,
don't
this is really,
foresee.
this is only to get density.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
saying-
Yeah, I was gonna say, we always talk about looking at a conventional plan as, is this something that we would actually approve as the first plan before they go to cluster or as an alternate? I guess that's the question for the board tonight.
Well, this might be one of the best examples of a 278 application.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is,
Oh, yeah.
because the disturbance alone is
Correct,
just huge.
correct. When you think about what could actually
The
be there,
environmental impact is huge.
right.
What's the piece, again, that they were proposing to
Donate
donate or ease,
think it's where
ease
the
to
parcels
the
are.
county?
this
That
parcel.
Parcel, okay.
Did we approve the conventional plan that encroaches on the buffer in the past? I don't think we have.
No, because those were sketch plans.
You mean in this?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a time when we approved a conventional plan for density where they encroached on the buffer zones for the wetland.
Oh, previous.
I don't think we have. I don't know if one's ever come before us.
Well, the construction's not.
We're allowed to have it.
No.
It's just, the building can't
Your
be.
property can be in the
Right.
buffer zone,
Yeah,
but you
just can't have any
can't build
improvements to go
Right.
on.
in the
Disturb.
buffer zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? I'll almost guarantee that we have, I just can't think of an example. There's been a lot
It's
of,
not unusual.
no,
I think that one out on Shoecraft Road.
I want to imagine the YMCA was probably one of them.
Yeah, in the back corner.
No, that would have been a 281 instead of a 278.
Still the same idea before the numbers were changed.
Yeah,
Still
it's still-
encroaching on a.
Newbury
But
Park,
yeah, but it
maybe.
backs up basically to the 1,000 acres more.
Yep.
So more than like
Oh, yeah, Nick D'Angelo's property that we just did
D'Angelo's.
Weybridge
Weybridge.
Court last year,
And
2
Ross
years ago
Jackson.
technically. Yep,
Jackson
Ross
Road.
Jackson, that's adjacent to the 1,000-acre swamp as well.
Okay.
It was 2 years ago.
2014 application.
2014.
We got towards, it took us a while to get there,
That
but
was last year, 2 years.
That was last month.
Well, we haven't gotten through 2016 yet. It was the end of
We
2014.
need a vacation.
when we approved it. Or just over 2016, so it's only been a year.
Yep.
A little over a year.
So again, issues with the conventional plan as is proposed?
No,
No,
I
no,
think the density.
that's not.
Okay. We did get an update today from the fire marshal that we'll be expecting a letter from the fire districts regarding the emergency access road. I don't have details about what surface they're recommending for it. I know the applicant did propose the geogrid with the, if you will,
I
the
feel pretty
artificial grass.
strongly about that up at the top, and
No, I think the public does too.
and
Oh,
I
there's
would really
definitely
strongly,
support for it from the
strongly
neighbors.
encourage, if there's pushback, that they maybe go check out some other communities and other places where this has been used, because it's not like it's a brand new
No.
technology.
Mhm.
Right.
It's not been tried, not been used in other places.
Well, the engineer pointed out the fact that the slope of that approach from the low side is not appropriate for, H20 vehicles, so,
Accessing it from there, trying to get to the,
yeah.
to
So,
Woodhaven and those neighborhoods.
The only difficulty that I see with those things is if you've got something where you're requesting mutual aid, just familiarity with how you're going to approach a certain
Mhm.
location. So if whatever the hazard is, or whatever the duress condition is, that they know that they got to approach everything up top from the top.
Mhm. And that would be, and I think that's going to be part of our communication. We're going to have some back and forth with the fire departments about this. I think this is just the first time hearing from them.
Those instructions right into the 911 system, so.
Mhm. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be the first time with our communication for them, just their support of emergency access, specifically how the easement's written for egress and getting people out of the subdivision more than, like as you were saying, trying to get an emergency vehicle there from the slope of that land, which isn't really accommodating. Really just to get people out if they can't use the standard roads that are there now. But part of that conversation, once we get past their first initial support, would be to follow up on the road surface material that's proposed.
Yeah, it's really just at the top, in between the two properties.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's not the rest of it.
And we plan on
No,
talking...
I think it was just
Just that
from
very
that
top?
point
Yeah.
to the gate.
Right.
For the two residents that are right
Right.
there.
Yeah.
So we do plan on talking about this more at PRC this week. Fire Marshal will be at that meeting, and hopefully we'll just keep continuing to have that dialogue with the fire districts, whether it be West Webster or Penfield.
Yeah, so
Um,
one
Is
of the
this in
things.
both districts, this development, or is it just in West
Technically.
Webster?
Technically, I believe it is. Doug, do you have the fire district map? We can confirm it right now.
So one of the things that we might want to ask them for,
up,
Zach,
up.
They go past it?
Yes, and now down.
is
Both.
to include the seating material, if they do use a geogrid block, to include the seating material in their landscape plan. Because that's the thing that we see that fails oftentimes is, if you're
Get it
using
started.
regular ryegrasses, they tend to die out and get brown in the off-season.
So what do they use?
I'm not quite sure. I've seen zoysia grasses, I've seen crown vetch, I've seen a whole bunch of things.
And as AJ said earlier, it's a technology that's been around, so it's something that we can send to our landscape consultant, and he can confirm that
They'll know.
that seed mix or something that I'm sure he's familiar with that would be appropriate and something that would last.
Is there any maintenance to the geogrid?
Well, they have to maintain it if the grass.
Sorry,
grows
I don't know enough about it. I don't know if you do
know
as
a
well.
whole lot about it either. Just buried, and it's, I'm sure that it can be replaced if need be, and it just comes in sections.
I was gonna
type
say
of
it's a
thing.
tile system.
Right, so you can
Yeah.
just pull out one tile and replace it, and
But it would have to be mown.
Have to be mown.
Mhm.
Has to be plowed.
But it has that structure under it that would support a vehicle, so
right.
it has the illusion of
Okay.
grass, something that you still maintain. It wouldn't be like putting AstroTurf down.
Okay.
So, but that's something we'll follow up with and work closely with the fire departments on it, basically
Yeah.
about that surface material and doing the proper research for it.
Yeah, I mentioned that parking lot at Tupper Lake, the Wild Center, uses that over the whole parking lot.
Pretty cool.
All right, we'll try.
Yeah, it's
Pull
open
that up
year-round.
tomorrow.
And it's
We'll
open
pull it up
year-round.
tomorrow with
Well,
staff.
weekends in the winter.
So they snow.
But they plow
But they
it.
still gotta plow it.
Yeah, they plow it.
Okay. Are there any other items the board would like to discuss tonight about this application? I
The
know it's...
lot to the right.
Oh, hello. This?
It's that area right there, I think.
Yeah, I think
That's
Are
under
they-
not
construction.
gonna be able to get.
Actually, I
Okay.
can't remember.
I think it's that add-on area that
Yeah.
Kidney shaped.
we parked there last summer, so I remembered it.
Yeah.
Are they doing anything to make the back of the houses look more like the front of the
Yes.
houses?
Yes, and that's part of the revisions they're making.
Okay.
What just happened? I almost got punched in the head. I kind of looked as you pointed, but that's part of the building elevation modifications they're making is in response to that comment, so that you're not just looking at flat wall of vinyl siding.
Back of a house.
Mhm. So I expressed to the applicant that I'd like to have those materials for our April 8th drop, for the April 14th meeting, but have it available on that Friday drop,
That's good.
so that everyone has a chance to look at it over the weekend. And lead
And you
up to the
told them
meeting.
we're gonna be sending that to Chris for review?
No, we did not, but
We
we would
discussed
like
that
to
2
do
weeks
that.
ago.
Yes.
Sure.
I honestly,
You bet.
specifically, I can't remember. I know a lot came up during the architecture. I'd have to look back in my notes, but again, if the board,
I
we can
think it would be appropriate.
discuss
to
it
have
now
him
to have
to-
formally sent to our
you
architecture
know, for the
consultant.
comfort of the residents.
Okay. We will now follow up with that and send it to our architecture consultant. All right.
Anything else on this one?
No? Okay.
Should probably
Entertain a-
continue table.
Yeah,
Probably
motion To continue table.
Second.
Now
in
in Bastion.
Jinx.
Okay, Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
That's true. All right. Miscellaneous items. We have a few of them. I'll jump to the Penfield Road Wegmans request. We have a representative here in the audience, and Kim. Hello, Kim. Board may ask you questions, so just be ready. I don't know if they have to.
Is that the Kim?
Yes.
The Kim?
You can.
Okay.
Oh, that, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, yes. All right, so Doug, if you have, the site plan from the photos, that would basically call it out
I
as,
think it was dragged to the, I
Yeah.
can log into my
Yeah,
email.
we have it in here.
They haven't been cropped.
are you, what folder are you in?
Planning board work session miscellaneous. Oh,
Alright.
on the active project.
Can you go to the meeting folder?
oh, I forgot to
We have 3 locations, we'll get there. Miscellaneous, there we go, and that's perfect. So the Penfield Road Wegmans has a guide rail, a wooden guide rail along all the northern parking. We have a couple photos in the drop that kind of display the current condition of it, and it has taken a beating over the years. Kim with Wegmans has requested from the board that the guide rail be removed. It has become a maintenance issue for property management. As you can see, it really is there as more of an aesthetic feature, kind of something that came along with the site plan at the time. We did go back to the approval resolution from this application when the Wegmans was built. There is no condition in there to say that this guide rail was, has to be here. This is here for safety and must be maintained and must be present on the property throughout its life. It is not, there's nothing in the resolution for that. It is shown on the site plan. But it's up to this board. I'm sure everyone has visited this Wegmans plenty of times.
I have
It's up to the
a
board
Too
if,
often.
if
Yeah, they
you'd
don't
like.
like my house.
But it'd be up to the board if you'd be willing to accommodate the request and have the guide rail removed. The whole section highlighted in red there would come out.
I make a motion to approve their request to remove the guide rail.
No issues?
I'll second.
Okay.
Hetzke,
Aye.
Bastian,
Aye.
Burton,
Aye.
Canower,
Aye.
Great. We'll send a letter with that, and you're all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
All right, Panorama Plaza.
Let me forget to go back to open that one. All right, Panorama Plaza. They have submitted a request to do some facade work, basically do a facelift on the entire plaza with the exception of the Tops building. Tops is under their own schedule for architecture and changes, but what you see before you, what was included in the drop, are some renderings of what they're proposing.
Well, all those stores are gonna be retail signage.
I know, that's a lot of retail
The
signage.
signage part, they're still,
Retail.
the signage are still
Didn't know there
working
was
out.
that big of a market for
I
that.
didn't know.
The whole plaza.
What if you tell somebody to meet you at the retail signage
Go in
store,
there
which one do
and
you
see.
go to?
You
Zach,
see
is this still
Walmart signs, you
Signs
see
are,
No, this
kinds of
plaza
CVS.
sold last year.
Yep.
To,
One of the owners is John August. He's the one who made the request to us. He has a couple partners that are involved with the ownership as well. He was going to be here tonight, but due to family commitments, he had to miss the meeting, but is willing to entertain any questions from the board regarding the why, the how, and the when.
is this all EFS we're looking at? Or do we not know yet?
I do not know that answer. I believe most of it involved just painting the surfaces with a new color, adjusting some of the peaks along the top of the building, and removing what is, you see the arches there that currently give the look of a window. Now they just want to remove that window treatment aesthetic and fill it in. They propose actually doing some soft lighting inside those arches as well. Just kind of so it's not just a vacant spot
Mhm.
on a huge stretch of wall. Almost got a window. There it is. It's over there. Drove through the plaza. Right there you go. Ooh. There it is.
oh yeah.
So that again, that aesthetic look would come out and kind of match both color, but again offer some lighting elements inside to shine down in the arch.
What's that feature down by Tops? That,
That thing?
yeah.
That's
It's their,
Is that
it's
there?
their
Part of Tops
entrance,
now.
they use it for
Yeah.
cart storage a
Oh,
lot.
okay.
actually
Oh, it looked like it
side
was,
entrance. It's
looked like it
yeah.
was
Yeah.
farther from the store.
Yeah, you enter from the sides of Tops.
Yeah,
So it's
okay.
there.
It's really not that different.
No, most of the changes would happen here on this face of the building. It does go all the way down to the Brugers, but then once you turn the corner, it's more just paintwork than changing the architecture.
Going from gray and blue
More the
to
more
beige.
neutral.
Or
It's still
blues.
yeah, darker grays and beiges. I got one thing, if the board would like to consider, we could also refer this to our
Is that Chris?
architecture consultant. You know, plazas like this don't change very often in terms of overhauling the entire facade.
This isn't really overall. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like a.
Not a major one, no.
No, but it might have a significant impact depending on color and texture and awnings they're proposing.
Are there any lighting upgrades that we know
To the
of?
parking or to the building?
Well, I guess primarily to the facade and then
And wall
the,
packs.
and then the walkway underneath. If that's included.
I honestly do not know.
There is an element in their key here for new light fixtures.
Is there one? New ephes, awning,
Okay.
light fixtures. So yeah, it looks like those are the wall packs.
Where is
Is that
it?
F?
L. L is white.
Well,
Conspicuously missing.
there's 12 layers to
There's
this
an L
thing.
right there.
To the right?
What's the right? Right there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, new wall
That's
packs,
Okay.
or wall sconce.
Good eye.
Looks like a sconce. Okay.
So that option is there, but I'm hearing kind of two sides, not major, not really significant updates, or
I don't really see a problem
significant.
having
It's up to the board if
The
how you want to do
architect
this.
take a look at it.
We also have the opportunity to table the discussion, and if there's any other details that the board would like to hear more about, the applicants say he's gladly willing to take those comments and come back in April with more feedback. It's just, I don't know if anyone has any more specific questions about what's proposed, whether it's cut sheets for lighting or more surface material samples.
Yep. Color samples.
Color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you want to see anything on lighting? Or-
we'd like to see what they have
Okay.
proposed for sure, more than Travis
Because
would.
it looks like there's gonna be those wall pack.
Almost
Something's
look like
gonna
more of a-
change.
Yeah,
Uplighting.
grazing type,
I mean, most of your lighting comes from the parking anyways.
yeah. You got all those poles with floodlights that shine at the buildings.
Okay. This is a miscellaneous item, so we don't really need to take a vote to table or anything, but we can keep it going in the agenda, and we can follow up with the applicant in a letter. Just going back to their emails and saying, just provide us with these these items before the 14th meeting. Bring it back in the work session and continue discussions.
Yes.
Okay. I'll follow up with them. Oak and Apple. Obviously, adjourned from the March 10th public hearing, but just some updates for the board quickly. Obviously, there have been a lot of public comments about this. Part of what we've been doing since the adjourned meeting was collecting those public comments from the residents. That night, or that day actually, we had a website submission form created on our website to kind of gather the public's comments through our website. And we've received quite a number of them over the past couple weeks.
Well, more than 36, if you include the anonymous one.
There's 36 items in there. We have taken all these comments, obviously saved them, included them in the record. We have provided them with the project materials in your drop, just to keep everyone updated on what's going on. We've also provided all this information to the applicants as well. Part of their letter requesting the adjournment detailed that they wanted to set up a neighborhood meeting with the residents, hopefully before their next public hearing. So we sent all that information as a courtesy, and they have expressed to us that they are working to schedule something before that meeting, which we were happy to hear and happy to assist them with in any way that we can, so that they have the chance to have those conversations with their residents, with their neighbors. Speaking of a new public hearing date, we did confirm with them that they'd like to meet on the 14th with the board, a regular scheduled public hearing. So that is the only item for that evening as a public hearing item. Everything else will be a table matter. We did establish that today. Legal notice went out today. We will continue, as we always have, with our notification process to put it in the Penfield Post, on the website, send postcards, and put the sign posting back up on the property.
You have a count of all the written responses that the town's received, the number of in favor versus the number opposed?
I don't have a count system for that, no.
Looks like it's pretty even.
It does.
From reading the comments, yes, I would agree that it's pretty even feedback that we've gotten since making this submission form available. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep the board updated how the applicant's doing with their outreach to their neighbors. Until then, it'll come back on the 14th. And
When they have their meeting with the public, would it be improper for any of us to go?
I'll defer to council.
I was looking at Pete.
Okay, good. We're sitting next to each other. I kind of lose it in the glasses.
You wanna think about it, or you?
I'd probably prefer not, that there was not a quorum there. I
Okay.
Perhaps,
don't want it to turn into a public meeting.
I think staff would most likely plan on being there to at least, if there's a question that gets directed to town, to be there with the applicant. Perhaps whoever's assigned lead on the application, if they
Yeah,
want to be
I
informed.
would like to go.
And I think Jim, we had you assigned as the lead on that. Again, I'll defer to Pete.
And to hear what has,
I
you
would,
know,
I would not like to have to answer any
Right.
questions at all, but I would like to be there to hear some dialogue and just to observe the flavor of the residents.
Right.
I would say if there's not a
Yep.
quorum.
but I mean, if there was a quorum, I mean, obviously, I'd prefer there not be. but
Obviously, I wouldn't
I would
recommend it
agree with
either.
that. I would agree with that.
It would be.
Depending on what it is, I'd like to go, but I'm gonna be traveling a lot. I'm gonna miss the 14th.
You're gonna miss the 14th?
And
I'm
Bob's gonna
missing
miss
the
it.
14th.
It's gonna be three of us, you, me, and.
Yeah, Mark called me today.
So, I really don't
I
wanna
told him
miss
if
it.
he'd buy me an ice cream later on, I'd be here.
Wow,
Now everyone's going to start using
I
that.
could've gotten an ice cream.
You know, listen, it's spring,
So,
warmer
Maybe it'll be
weather's
nice
coming.
then.
Yeah.
It's a night of the high school Prism concert, best concert of the year.
I believe that's all I have on that application right now. Again, it's just been sitting and we've been collecting comments, so that's that.
Would it be okay to ask you to have staff pull a matrix together to tally the votes?
Yeah, we could start a
Yeah, we could probably just keep
Just try to
track of
dash you
that.
that, or-
That's probably a good idea.
You know,
sort them accordingly.
I think it's a timely piece of information for each of the opposing views to recognize that.
I'm sure they've done that themselves as we've sent them things to specifically address and gather those
Yeah,
comments of the
I
opposed.
get the sense that those two factions aren't really talking quite a bit with one another.
That's
Maybe
that's
some-
why they want to
maybe
have
some
this
better
meeting.
dialogue will come out when the developer
And I think that's
schedules this
why they want to
meeting.
make themselves available to the public, outside of the public hearing, but, in an informal neighborhood meeting, just to allow people to ask their questions. I'll still gladly entertain all the questions that come here.
Yeah.
There's contentious applications. It's good that the applicant reaches out to their neighbors and establishes that dialogue with them. So,
Absolutely.
And when they come in with their revised application, I'm assuming it'll be revised or whatever they're gonna submit
Any
to us.
updates?
It'll be up on the website.
yeah, we will continue to keep the website up to date with everything that we have that's pertinent to the application and the public hearing.
Good,
Okay?
good. All right, well, thanks for that update.
You're welcome. I have nothing else.
Do we have anything else? All right, well, I guess that's the end of the meeting. We will adjourn. Thanks for coming, everybody.